Are you very hungry though?
Do you not want to eat your shoe?
Friends are looking tasty though.
Surely they are edible.
No.
Monster, monster, cooking the monster.
Cooking the Monster is proudly presented by Herbert, Matly and Kistrix.
Monster, monster, cooking the monster tonight.
Good afternoon/evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are once more approaching dinner time, and we are once more exploring the culinary delights of the player races. And today, we'll be looking at the most delicious of the player races, the Halfling.
Halflings are a naturally small race, generally about 3 foot tall, but generally about 40 pounds. That's packed full of delicious flavour, really.
Bite-sized. I mean, they just love the good things in life. And the only other race we've really talked about that comes close to a halfling in its sweet, sweet deliciousness is the bugbear. But the bugbears do have a lot of anxiety built into their existence, where halflings typically do not. They live very calm, relaxed, pastoral existences. They eat a wide variety of foods, some prepared, some raw. They appreciate the good life and the good times and look to relax and settle down in all occasions. They have fatty deposits, strong amounts of muscle in their body because they are hardworking and earnest, but they don't overtax that muscle. So really, a good grain-fed, natural, off-the-bat halfling should be quite beautifully marbled if it's fed correctly.
Kind of like a wagyu? You thinking like a wagyu kind of
I think
steak?
so, like a miniature wagyu.
Oh, that would be quite lovely because you could actually get like a wagyu cheek and then butterfly it over a bed of like some grains and some spinach or something like that.
Absolutely
Decadent.
delicious.
Absolutely decadent.
I actually have a theory that because of a well-bred, well-fed halfling could even be used to make a very rich type of pate.
Oh, yes, you could. You could even do like a terrine as well if you're going down like the pate route because that's got a very similar texture and preparation method as well. And you could use some of the fat from the fatty deposits to actually make the jelly of the terrine or the pate.
Absolutely. And it would be a great side to a cold cut. So once you've taken your halfling and you've roasted it, or cooked it, if you're just doing a small cut roast or a whole roast, and again, a halfling is a great size to fit in the oven or roast slowly over a fire. But if you were doing like, or even raw fine cut,
Oh, yes.
like a good sashimi or wagyu sashimi with the side of the pate, a little bit of a tart sauce for some dipping, perhaps some capers or an olive tapenade.
I do believe the beef that is sometimes served with sushi that is quite rare is very briefly dipped in boiling water just to kind of seal the outside as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that would be very, very, very fine delicacy. And you can start to understand why halflings are some of the most sought after, one of the most sought after races when it comes to seeking out delicacies for the potentially evil races. I mean, are they really evil, or do they just like their food?
Really, they're nature's charcuterie board. Make a good salami as well, actually. The sort of
amazing
marble.
salami.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had salami in mind.
Yeah.
So much, because they've got all the fats that just work through it. But you could, if you are slow cooking a halfling, you can extract the drippings to make delicious gravies, delicious sauces. Just really, there's so much. There's so much. I mean, what can't you do with a halfling?
I think we can all agree, really, of all player races, the halflings are the most edible.
Which is strange, because they are, or possibly a natural conclusion of the fact that they are one of the most culinary species. They're happy, light-hearted. Very diet, keeps them healthy. But what is the optimum age range, do you think, for halfling consumption?
I don't know. I've heard arguments that they just sort of get better with age, just more marbled and so on.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there is, a point where they're going to be a bit more stringy. But even then, you're unlikely to get sort of the more crone-like older halflings. It's going to be more of a
So you think even like
rounder-
a halfling mutton, as it were, or mutton style, when you're talking about the older animal, would be quite delicious, have its own unique accents and flavors.
Absolutely.
Whereas, I guess, as opposed to a human, you have a peak time period in which to consume them before their chemicals start breaking them down in a way that makes them, well, relatively inedible.
Yeah, and stringy. Because of the size of the halfling as well, if given the right environment and circumstances, if you could provide them with a decent lifestyle, do you think there's something that could lend to maybe more industrial-sized farming?
Yeah, absolutely. The problem, obviously, with the more intelligent species is keeping them contained. Halflings are notorious for being thieves, rogues, being able to get out of situations.
True.
I think if you bred them in a controlled circumstance where you provided them with everything they needed and limited their intelligence and kept them isolated potentially from each other to minimize their ability to communicate and understand them, or perhaps even gave them a lobotomy early in life, then you'd have a much better chance of really growing them into a fine breeding stock. Yeah.
I'm really not sure there's much more to say about halflings. We're all agreed they're delicious. They lend themselves to a great many meals, and
You've pretty much got your whole spice cupboard at your disposal, I think, when it comes to them, because it's such an adaptable meat. It's pretty much it's
a
like
high-grade
beef,
meat.
right? Like a
Yeah.
really like an Angus.
yeah.
Yes, really, just the best of the best. The finest of all meats. If you're going to force yourself to eat a sentient creature,
Which we, of course, morally, but if you're in a situation where you have to eat,
I don't know. There's some people at the table here who feel like they might need to be pushed to eat it. But I'm
yeah, absolutely. Let's
maybe
not.
I play
let's not-
morally corrupt characters all the time.
We are not encouraging you to eat sentient creatures. There are so many of them in the world, and you shouldn't be doing that. But at the same time, if you're in a situation where you just can't let those people go to waste, or if you grow up in a society of halflings far flung in the mountains, where the deepest respect for your elders is to consume their corpses posthumous in order to pass the good taste, flavor, and culinary delights down the family line, then, you're best to be forewarned and forearmed. And I think that's about all for us for Halflings tonight. And we'd love you to add your comments below. Jump on board, recommend those Halfling recipes, point out anything we haven't talked about. And for all the gods in the Pantheon, enjoy your Halfling with gusto. You've been Cooking the Monster, and we'll see you next week.
Monster, cooking the monster tonight.